My friends, life does not give us unlimited chances. Sometimes, all it takes is one decision, one period of discipline, one bold commitment to completely change the direction of our journey. Many people wait for the perfect time to restart, but let me tell you, there is no perfect time. The best time to rebuild yourself is now, and the best commitment you can make is to give yourself 90 days of absolute focus. 90 days may sound short, but if you dedicate yourself fully, it is long enough to transform your mindset, your habits, your career, and your destiny. My friends, before we even talk about building new skills, chasing new opportunities, or creating a new version of ourselves, we must first confront the most important step, raising our standards. Because the truth is, your life today is not the result of your dreams, not the result of your wishes, not even the result of your talent. It is the result of the standards you have accepted for yourself. If you accept low standards, you will live a low-quality life. If you demand more from yourself, if you say to yourself, I refuse to stay the same, then everything will begin to change. Think about it. A person who sets the standard that they will never wake up late, who sets the standard that they will always give their best effort, who sets the standard that they will not waste time with toxic distractions, what do you think will happen to that person after 90 days? Their energy will be sharper, their mind clearer, their opportunities greater. Meanwhile, another person who sets the standard that laziness is acceptable, that excuses are acceptable, that comfort is acceptable, what happens to that person after 90 days? They stay stuck, and not only stuck, they fall behind because the world is moving forward while they are standing still. Let me tell you something very important. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you tolerate. If you tolerate bad habits, they will stay. If you tolerate negative people, they will keep draining you. If you tolerate mediocrity in yourself, then mediocrity will become your identity. And when mediocrity becomes your identity, you stop dreaming, you stop growing, you stop living. That's why the very first rule of rebuilding yourself in 90 days is to stop tolerating the old version of you. You must become allergic to your own excuses. You see, most people don't fail because they are not capable. They fail because their standards are too low. They say, it's okay if I skip this day. It's okay if I don't try hard today. It's okay if I don't give my best. But 90 days of it's okay turns into 9 years of regret. Small standards create small lives, and small lives create big pain. When you reset your standards, you send a message to yourself and to the universe, I will not live below my potential anymore. And suddenly, doors open, not because magic happens, but because your mind starts operating differently. You start noticing opportunities you ignored before. You start demanding effort from yourself that you never demanded before. You start carrying yourself with confidence that you never had before. Your standards create your identity, and your identity creates your destiny. Think about athletes. The difference between a gold medalist and the one who doesn't even qualify is not talent alone. It is the standard they set for themselves. The gold medalist says, I will never miss training. I will train harder than anyone else. I will push beyond the pain. While the other athlete says, I'll train when I feel like it. I'll stop when I get tired. And after a year, the gap between them is enormous. After 90 days, the winner is already separating themselves from the crowd. So let me ask you, what standards have you been living with until now? Have you accepted procrastination? Have you accepted wasting hours on meaningless activities? Have you accepted negativity from people who do not even care about your future? Have you accepted giving half your energy when life demands all of it? If the answer is yes, then it's time to raise your standards. It's time to look in the mirror and say, this version of me is no longer enough. I must become more. In the next 90 days, you must refuse to accept the behaviors that kept you small. No more snoozing the alarm 10 times. No more saying, I'll do it tomorrow. No more comparing yourself with others while doing nothing for yourself. No more giving up at the first challenge. You must demand more. You must hold yourself to a standard so high that even you feel uncomfortable. Because growth only begins when comfort ends. Some of you will say, but I've tried before and I failed. That's because your standard was temporary. You said to yourself, I'll try until it gets hard. That is not a standard. That is a wish, A true standard is unshakable. It doesn't matter if you feel tired. It doesn't matter if you feel discouraged. It doesn't matter if others laugh at you. You keep going because you know your old self is not welcome anymore. And let me remind you, raising your standards is not about perfection. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better. Better than yesterday. Better than the old you. Progress is more important than perfection, but progress only comes when you demand more from yourself. Imagine this. If for the next 90 days, you wake up 1 hour earlier, you give your best effort to your goals, you feed your mind with knowledge instead of negativity, you surround yourself with people who inspire instead of drain, what kind of person will you become in 3 months? You won't even recognize yourself. People around you will ask, "What happened to you? How did you change so much?" And your answer will be simple: "I raised my standards. I decided to stop accepting less than I deserve." This is why so many people admire success but never achieve it. They admire it, but they never raise their standards to match it. They want the rewards of discipline, but keep the standards of laziness. They want the lifestyle of success, but keep the habits of failure. That's impossible. Success is not about luck. Success is about demanding from yourself a level of consistency, effort, and resilience that most people are unwilling to demand. So the first day of your 90-day journey begins here. Reset your standards. Write down the things you will no longer accept. Write down the excuses you will no longer tolerate. Write down the new standards you will live by. Maybe it's to exercise daily. Maybe it's to read every night. Maybe it's to stop wasting money. Maybe it's to take action on your dreams instead of talking about them. Whatever it is, make it non-negotiable. Because once you make it non-negotiable, your life will begin to move in a new direction. And remember, it will be difficult. Your mind will resist. Your body will resist. People around you will resist. But the question is, will you resist your old standards long enough to create new ones? Because if you can hold strong for 90 days, you will never go back. Your old version will be gone forever, and the new you will be unstoppable. So raise your standards. Raise them higher than ever before. Demand more from yourself, because no one else will. Life will not hand you success. Life will only give you the results that match the standards you enforce every single day. 90 days of new standards can create a completely new life. My friends, once you have raised your standards, the next most important step in rebuilding yourself in 90 days is clarity. You cannot walk into the future blindfolded and expect to end up in the right place. You cannot simply hope that discipline alone will save you. Discipline without direction is wasted energy. Action without clarity is chaos. That's why you must sit down and design a clear plan for the 90 days that lie ahead. Too many people say they want success, but when you ask them, what exactly do you want, by when? How will you get it? They don't have an answer. They speak in vague terms. I want to be rich. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. But vague goals produce vague results. If you don't know exactly where you are going, how can you ever get there? If you get in a car without a destination, you will just waste fuel driving in circles. That's how most people live their lives, using energy but going nowhere. A clear plan is like a roadmap. It tells you where you are, where you want to go, and the steps required to get there. Without a plan, you are like a traveler lost in the desert with no compass. You may move, but every step feels heavier, every day feels harder, because deep down, you don't know if you are heading in the right direction. But with a plan, even the hardest days make sense because you know that every action you take is leading somewhere. So how do you design a plan for your next 90 days? First, you must decide exactly what you want to achieve. Not 10 things, not 20 things. Focus on 1 to 3 key transformations you want to see. Maybe you want to rebuild your health and lose 10 kilograms. Maybe you want to learn a skill that will give you an advantage in your career. Maybe you want to save a certain amount of money or launch a business idea. Choose your priorities carefully because scattered energy creates scattered results. The world doesn't reward busy people, it rewards focused people. Once you know what you want, break it down into measurable, actionable steps. If your goal is to lose 10 kilograms, your plan must include your diet, your daily exercise routine, your weekly check-ins. If your goal is to learn a new skill, Your plan must include how many hours per day you will study, what resources you will use, how you will test your knowledge. If your goal is to save money, your plan must include exactly how much you will save each week, where you will cut expenses, how you will track progress. The secret to a good plan is not perfection, it is simplicity and consistency. Don't create a plan that looks impressive on paper, but is impossible to follow. Create a plan that fits into your life, but pushes you beyond your comfort zone. A plan that challenges you, but does not overwhelm you. Remember, you don't have to change everything overnight. But in 90 days, you must change enough to never go back to who you were before. Let me tell you why a clear plan is powerful. When you wake up every morning and you already know what you must do, you remove hesitation. Hesitation is the killer of progress. People waste hours every day not because they are lazy, but because they are confused. They don't know what to do first. They start something, stop halfway, jump to something else, and end the day exhausted but unaccomplished. That is the price of not having clarity. But with a plan, you wake up, look at your list, and immediately take action. There is no debate, no confusion, no wasted energy. Think about construction workers. When they build a skyscraper, they don't just start putting bricks randomly and hope it will look good. They follow a blueprint. Every line is drawn, every measurement is exact, every step is prepared. That's why the building stands strong. But imagine if they said, let's just start building and see how it goes. The result would be chaos, a half-built structure with no stability. And yet, that is how most people build their lives, without a blueprint, without a plan, without clarity. Another important thing when you make your plan, write it down. Do not keep it only in your mind. Your mind is too distracted, too busy, too forgetful. A written plan gives your vision power. It is a contract you sign with yourself. Every time you look at it, you are reminded of your promise. And when days get hard, and they will, you can open that plan and say, this is why I started. This is where I'm going. You must also give your plan a timeline. A plan without deadlines is just a wish list. If you say, I will get fit someday, that someday will never come. If you say, I will save money when the time is right, that time will never arrive. But if you say, in 90 days, I will lose 10 kilograms, or in 90 days, I will save $1,000, your brain suddenly switches on. It sees urgency, it sees focus, it sees a challenge. That is when momentum is born. And let me warn you, when you design a plan, life will test you. Things will not go smoothly. There will be setbacks, temptations, distractions. You may fall behind. That is normal. But the purpose of the plan is not to be perfect. It is to keep you moving forward even when life gets messy. The plan is your anchor. Even if you slip, the plan pulls you back. Even if you fall, the plan helps you stand again. That's why designing it clearly is non-negotiable. Some of you may say, but what if my plan doesn't work? Then adjust it. Do not quit. Adjust. The problem with most people is that when the plan fails, they give up completely. They say, this is not for me. But winners do not quit. They adapt. They study the failure. They learn from it. They create a better plan, and they keep going. That is how progress is made. Success is not about having a perfect plan. It's about having a clear plan and the flexibility to improve it along the way. Imagine yourself at the end of 90 days. If you designed and followed a clear plan, you will look back with pride. You will see the steps you took, the progress you made, the new habits you built. You will have proof that you can control your life. That proof will give you unshakable confidence. And that confidence will carry you into the next 90 days and the next until your entire life is transformed. But if you reach the end of 90 days without a plan, you will look back and see wasted time, wasted energy, wasted potential. You will wonder, why didn't I start seriously? Why didn't I create a roadmap? And regret is the heaviest weight a human can carry. Do not let yourself carry that weight. Choose clarity now. So take time today, not tomorrow, and design your 90-day plan. Decide what matters most. Break it down into daily and weekly actions. Write it down. Commit to it. Review it often. Adjust it when necessary. And most importantly, follow it relentlessly. Because once you design a clear plan, you will no longer wake up lost. You will wake up with purpose. And when a human being has purpose, nothing can stop them. My friends, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they start a journey of transformation is believing that motivation will carry them through. They wait for that rush of excitement, that spark of energy, that perfect mood where they feel unstoppable. And yes, in the beginning, motivation feels powerful. You watch a video, you read a book, you hear a story, and suddenly your heart is on fire. You tell yourself, this is it, I will change my life, nothing will stop me. But let me tell you the truth, motivation is temporary. It's like a flame from a match. It burns brightly, but it dies quickly. If your entire 90-day journey depends only on motivation, you will quit after the first week. You will quit the moment life punches you in the face, the moment you feel tired, the moment your results don't come fast enough. And that's why so many people start with energy but never finish. They were relying on motivation, not discipline. Discipline is very different. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline doesn't ask, do you feel like working today? Discipline doesn't wait for inspiration. Discipline is about doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is the silent force that carries you when motivation is gone. It is the bridge between your goals and your results. Without it, nothing you plan will matter. Think about this. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will maybe act once or twice a week. But if you act with discipline, you will take action every single day, no matter what. 90 days of discipline will transform you into a completely different person. 90 days of motivation alone will leave you exactly where you started. Look at athletes who train for the Olympics. Do you think they wake up every day motivated to train? No, they are human just like you. They feel tired, they feel lazy, they feel pain. But they train anyway. Why? Because they are not slaves to their emotions. They are guided by discipline. Their vision is bigger than their feelings. And that is why they win medals while others only dream. This is the mindset you must adopt in your 90-day rebuilding journey. You cannot rely on your mood. Your mood is weak. Some days you will feel strong, other days you will feel lazy. If you let your mood control your actions, you will never finish anything in life. Discipline means you control your actions regardless of your mood. You do the work whether you feel excited or exhausted. You stay committed whether the world applauds you or ignores you. You move forward whether progress is visible or invisible. That is discipline. Let me share a story you can relate to. Imagine a student preparing for an exam. If the student only studies on days when they feel motivated, they will never be ready. But the student who studies daily, who sticks to the routine, who follows the schedule even on boring days, that student builds knowledge brick by brick, and when exam day comes, they succeed. Life works the same way. Success doesn't test you on one day, it tests you every day. And only discipline can prepare you for that test. Now, ask yourself how many times in your life did you start something with motivation but stop because you lacked discipline? Maybe you started going to the gym but quit after 2 weeks. Maybe you started reading a book but never finished. Maybe you started a business idea but abandoned it the moment it got hard. Motivation got you started, but discipline was missing. That is why you stopped. And if you don't fix this, your next 90 days will be just another cycle of starting and quitting. So how do you build discipline? The first step is commitment. You must decide that what you want is non-negotiable. When you truly commit, discipline becomes easier because you no longer give yourself the option to quit. The second step is routine. Discipline lives in routine. If you create a daily routine and stick to it, discipline becomes automatic. The third step is accountability. Tell someone about your goals. Write them down. Track your progress. Accountability gives discipline strength. And here's the most powerful truth. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. In the beginning, it feels painful. You will resist. You will hate it. You will argue with yourself every morning. But if you keep pushing, if you keep training that muscle, one day it becomes natural. One day you don't even think about it. You just do it. Just like brushing your teeth, it becomes a habit. And when discipline becomes your habit, nothing can stop you. Remember, this motivation is for beginners. Discipline is for winners. Anyone can feel motivated for a week, but only the discipline can transform in 90 days. The world doesn't reward those who start, it rewards those who finish. And finishing is only possible through discipline. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two people start on the same day with the same goal. Person A is motivated, full of energy, but lacks discipline. Person B is disciplined, quiet, consistent, but not very excited. After 7 days, person A is slowing down, person B is still working. After 30 days, person A has quit, person B has built momentum. After 90 days, person A is back to their old self, while person B is transformed. This is why discipline always wins. So in your 90-day journey, stop asking yourself, am I motivated today? Start asking yourself, am I disciplined today? Because the truth is, your future doesn't care about your feelings. Your future only cares about your actions. And actions repeated with discipline shape your destiny. When you wake up tomorrow and you don't feel like doing the work, remember this moment. Remember that feelings are temporary, but the results of discipline last forever. If you stay disciplined for 90 days, you will rebuild yourself into someone unrecognizable. And when people ask you how you did it, your answer will be simple. I stopped chasing motivation and I started living with discipline. My friends, once you raise your standards, once you design a plan, and once you build discipline to follow through, there is still something missing. You cannot rebuild yourself in 90 days with the same knowledge, the same thinking, and the same perspective that created your old life. If you want a new life, you need new knowledge. If you want to build a new version of yourself, you must feed your mind with new ideas, new skills, and new ways of seeing the world. That is why learning relentlessly is the fourth and most powerful pillar of transformation. Let me be very clear, ignorance is expensive. What you don't know is costing you opportunities every single day. The money you didn't earn, the decisions you got wrong, the chances you missed. They didn't slip away because you weren't capable. They slipped away because you didn't know enough. Knowledge is not a luxury, it is survival. In the world we live in today, those who stop learning are already falling behind. Every day you refuse to learn, someone else is learning, growing, and taking the opportunities that could have been yours. Think about it. The person who learns just one new skill in 90 days can open doors that remain locked for years for someone else. The person who reads consistently for 90 days can change their perspective so dramatically that their life path shifts completely. Learning is not slow, it is transformative. And yet, most people underestimate it because it doesn't give instant gratification. They say, why read this book? Why listen to this course? Why study this subject? I don't see immediate results. And because they don't see results in the moment, they stop. But let me tell you, knowledge is like planting seeds. You don't see the tree the next day, but one day you will look back and realize that those small seeds grew into a forest that protects and feeds you for life. In these 90 days, you must treat learning like oxygen. Every day, you must inhale something new that strengthens your mind. It doesn't have to be 10 hours a day. Even 30 minutes of focused learning daily will change you. Read a book that challenges you. Listen to someone wiser than you. Watch a lecture, take a course, learn from the mistakes of those who came before you. Because remember, you don't have enough time in life to make every mistake yourself. The fastest way to grow is to learn from the pain, wisdom, and victories of others. Many people are trapped because they repeat the same actions with the same thinking, expecting different results. But your thinking is built from your knowledge. If your knowledge doesn't change, your thinking doesn't change. If your thinking doesn't change, your actions don't change. And if your actions don't change, your life doesn't change. It all begins in the mind. Learning rewires the mind, and a new mind builds a new life. Some of you will say, but I don't have time to learn. Really, you don't have time to invest in the one thing that will make every other part of your life better. You have time to scroll endlessly, time to gossip, time to waste hours on distractions, but no time to read 20 pages, no time to listen to a podcast, no time to study something that can create opportunities. It is not about time. It is about priorities. If you can dedicate 90 days to learning relentlessly, you will be shocked by the person you become. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone spends 90 days learning a digital skill: coding, marketing, design, data analysis. In just 3 months, they become valuable to industries that pay well. Imagine someone spends 90 days learning public speaking, communication, or sales. Suddenly their confidence and income double. Imagine someone spends 90 days reading books about health, nutrition, and exercise. They not only lose weight, they extend their life. 90 days of focused learning can do more for you than years of drifting without direction. But learning is not just about collecting information. It's about applying it. Too many people read 100 books, but change nothing. They have shelves of wisdom, but lives of mediocrity. Real learning happens when you take knowledge and put it into action. When you learn something today, ask yourself, how can I use this tomorrow? That is how knowledge turns into power. Otherwise, it's just entertainment. And here is another truth: learning is not always comfortable. It forces you to face your ignorance. It humbles you. It stretches your brain in directions it doesn't want to go. But that discomfort is a sign of growth. When your muscles hurt in the gym, it means they are growing. When your brain hurts while learning, it means it is expanding. Don't run from that discomfort. Chase it. Because the more you stretch yourself in 90 days, the more unrecognizable your future self will be. Some people will laugh at you for always learning. They will say, why are you always reading? Why are you always studying? Life is to be enjoyed. But let me tell you, one day those same people will work for you. One day they will admire you. Because while they were entertained, you were educated. While they were wasting time, you were investing in yourself. And in this world, those who invest in themselves always rise. Let me ask you this: if I offered you a choice between $1 million today and the knowledge to create $10 million over the next 10 years, which would you choose? Most people will take the million instantly because they don't understand the power of knowledge. But the wise will take knowledge because money can be lost, but knowledge multiplies. Knowledge gives you the power to create money again and again. It gives you freedom that nothing else can. So for the next 90 days, I challenge you to become obsessed with learning. Carry a book everywhere you go. Replace 1 hour of entertainment with 1 hour of education. Turn your car into a moving classroom by listening to podcasts. Wake up earlier or sleep later if you must, but feed your mind daily. Because just like your body weakens without food, your mind weakens without knowledge. And don't just learn for yourself, learn to become valuable to others. The world rewards value, and value comes from knowledge. The more you know, the more problems you can solve. The more problems you solve, the more doors open for you. People will always chase those who bring solutions, not excuses. 90 days of learning relentlessly can make you a problem solver in your field, and problem solvers never stay poor, never stay stuck, never stay ignored. So, my friends, remember this: your bank account, your opportunities, your confidence, your success, they are all mirrors of what you know. If you don't like what you see in your life, change what you put into your mind. Because when your mind grows, everything else follows. Motivation fades, discipline pushes, but knowledge transforms. And if you commit to learning relentlessly for 90 days, you will unlock a version of yourself that even you didn't know existed. My friends, let me tell you something that most people overlook when they talk about transformation. Success is not built on one-time effort. Success is not the result of one lucky day or one big decision. Success is built on the invisible, quiet, repetitive actions that you do every single day, your habits. You can dream big, you can make plans, you can even work hard for a few weeks, but if you don't create unshakable habits, your change will not last. Habits are the foundation of identity, and identity is what determines destiny. If you look at anyone who has rebuilt themselves, whether in health, in business, in relationships, you will notice something very clear: they live by habits that others don't. They don't just occasionally work hard. They have built routines that make hard work natural. They don't just occasionally take care of themselves. They have built patterns that protect their energy every single day. What separates winners from everyone else is not bursts of effort. It's habits that never break. The problem is, most people underestimate the power of small habits. They think success comes from dramatic changes, overnight breakthroughs, magical moments. But real change is quiet. Real change is in the things you repeat until they become part of you. If you eat a healthy meal one day, nothing changes. But if you eat healthy for 90 days, your body transforms. If you save money once, nothing changes. But if you save money consistently for 90 days, your finances shift. If you study 1 hour one day, it doesn't seem like much. But if you do it every day for 90 days, you become an expert compared to those who do nothing. Small habits, repeated daily, create results that look like miracles to outsiders. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning motivated to brush your teeth. You don't celebrate after doing it. You don't even think about it. It's automatic. That is the power of habit. Imagine if working on your goals became as natural as brushing your teeth. Imagine if exercising daily, reading daily, working on your business daily became automatic. You wouldn't need to force yourself anymore because it would be who you are. That is what it means to build unshakable habits. You no longer rely on motivation or willpower because the action is already wired into your life. But here is the hard truth: building habits is not easy in the beginning. In the beginning, your mind and body will resist. They will scream for comfort. They will pull you back to old patterns. That is why most people fail. They quit before the habit becomes automatic. Research shows it takes weeks, sometimes months, to truly wire a habit into your brain. That's why this 90-day challenge is so powerful. If you can fight through the resistance for 90 days, you can build habits that will last for years. 90 days is not just about change. It is about rewiring your identity. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to become healthier. You start exercising daily. The first week, it feels painful. Your body hurts. Your mind complains. You want to quit. But you keep going. The second week, it still hurts. But you start noticing small improvements. By the third week, it becomes slightly easier. By the end of the first month, it's not torture anymore. It's part of your day. By the end of 90 days, if you miss a workout, you feel incomplete. The habit has become unshakable. What used to feel impossible now feels natural. The same is true for learning. If you commit to reading every day for 90 days, at first it feels forced. You'd rather watch TV, scroll your phone, distract yourself. But over time, your brain begins to crave knowledge. Suddenly you feel uncomfortable if you don't read. The habit has shifted your identity from a passive consumer to a hungry learner. And that identity will carry you far beyond the 90 days. This is why habits matter more than goals. A goal is something you want to achieve once. A habit is something that sustains achievement forever. A goal is running one marathon. A habit is becoming a runner. A goal is making money one time. A habit is managing money wisely for life. A goal is losing weight. A habit is living healthy. The power of unshakable habits is that they don't just give you results. They give you identity. And identity lasts longer than effort. So how do you build these unshakable habits in your 90 days? First, start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Choose a few habits that matter most. Maybe it's waking up early. Maybe it's exercising daily. Maybe it's writing every night. Start with small, simple actions and then increase gradually. Small habits are easier to stick to, but once they lock in, they grow. Second, be consistent. Habits are built by repetition, not intensity. It's better to read 10 pages a day for 90 days than to read 200 pages once and quit. It's better to exercise for 20 minutes every day than to push for 3 hours once a week and burn out. Consistency beats intensity because consistency creates identity. Third, create an environment that supports your habits. If you want to eat healthy, remove junk food from your house. If you want to read daily, place books on your desk or near your bed. If you want to save money, automate your savings. Your environment must make the right habits easy and the wrong habits hard, because willpower is weak, but environment is strong. Fourth, track your progress. Every time you complete your habit, mark it down. Seeing progress builds momentum. It tells your brain, I am consistent, I am building a streak, I am becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit. Progress fuels discipline, and discipline solidifies habits. Finally, be patient. Don't expect instant results. Remember, habits are seeds. You don't plant a seed today and harvest tomorrow. You water it, you protect it, you give it time. And then one day, it grows into a tree that gives you fruit for the rest of your life. Habits are the same. In 90 days, you may not see the full tree, but you will see the growth. And if you keep watering, it will never stop. Think about this. If you build just 3 powerful habits in the next 90 days, they can carry you for the next 9 years. A habit of learning daily. A habit of exercising daily. A habit of working on your goals daily. Imagine how unstoppable you would be if these became unshakable parts of your life. While others are starting and quitting, you are steady. While others are chasing motivation, you are automatic. While others are lost, you are growing. My friends, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is hidden in habits. Ordinary people rely on moods and motivation. Extraordinary people rely on habits. And habits, once built, don't just change your days, they change your destiny. So if you are serious about rebuilding yourself in 90 days, don't just think about what you want to achieve. Think about what habits you need to build. Because when the 90 days are over, it won't be your goals that define you, it will be the habits you carry forward. And those habits will either keep you small or make you unstoppable. My friends, if you want to rebuild yourself in 90 days, you cannot ignore the power of environment. Many people fail, not because they are weak, not because they are incapable, not even because they lack intelligence, but because they are surrounded by the wrong energy every day. Whether you realize it or not, the people around you, the voices you listen to, the places you go, the habits of those near you, these things either fuel your fire or suffocate it. Success is not just about what you do, it is also about where you do it and with whom you do it. You may have all the determination in the world, but if you are surrounded by negative energy, it will slowly drain your strength until you collapse back into old patterns. Think about it. If you spend time with people who complain all the time, eventually you will complain too. If you spend time with people who are lazy, eventually laziness will rub off on you. If you spend time with people who gossip, criticize, and doubt, you will start thinking the same way without even realizing it. Energy is contagious. You cannot be surrounded by negativity and expect to stay positive. You cannot be surrounded by fear and expect to stay bold. You cannot be surrounded by small-minded people and expect to think big. The environment you allow will either build your future or destroy it. But the good news is, the opposite is also true. If you surround yourself with energy that is inspiring, uplifting, challenging, and forward-looking, you will rise naturally. If you spend time with people who dream bigger, who take bold action, who refuse to settle, your mind will begin to expand. If you spend time with people who are disciplined, hardworking, and hungry for growth, their habits will become yours. If you spend time with people who encourage you, who believe in you, who challenge you to be more, then you will never fall back into mediocrity. Energy multiplies. The right energy can make the next 90 days the most powerful season of your life. Let me tell you something important. Your environment is not neutral. It is either pushing you forward or pulling you back. Most people fail because they underestimate this. They think they are strong enough to resist the energy of others, but in reality, no one is that strong all the time. If your environment constantly whispers negativity into your ears, sooner or later those whispers become your inner voice. But if your environment constantly feeds you encouragement, vision, and strength, those become your inner voice too. That is why one of the most powerful decisions you can make in this 90-day journey is to carefully choose the energy around you. You must learn to cut out the toxic. There are people in your life who drain you, who make you doubt yourself, who always see problems instead of possibilities. If you allow them to stay close, they will poison your growth. It does not mean you hate them. It does not mean you look down on them. It means you respect your own future enough to protect it. Distance is not disrespect. Distance is self-preservation. If someone's presence costs you your peace, your progress, and your purpose, then the price is too high. Protect your energy like it is gold, because it is. At the same time, you must actively seek the right energy. Read books that uplift your mind. Listen to voices that inspire courage, not fear. Surround yourself with people who are on fire for their dreams. Even if you cannot meet them in person, you can follow their work, learn from their words, and let their energy fuel you. In this digital age, you can surround yourself with energy from mentors, leaders, thinkers, and creators across the world. Fill your environment with messages that push you to grow, not messages that keep you small. But it goes deeper than just people. Your environment is also your space. Look at the place you live, the room where you work, the desk where you spend your hours. Does it energize you or drain you? Is it cluttered, messy, and filled with distractions? Or is it clean, organized, and aligned with your vision? If your environment is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic too. But if your environment is clear, your focus will sharpen. A powerful environment does not have to be luxurious. It just has to support your mission. Remove the noise, clear the mess, surround yourself with reminders of your goals, and you will find yourself rising higher without even trying. You also need to surround yourself with energy in the form of experiences. Where do you go? What do you watch? What do you listen to? Every movie, every song, every conversation, every social media post you consume is energy entering your mind. Are you feeding your brain poison or nutrition? If you spend 3 hours a day scrolling through negativity, gossip, and distractions, don't be surprised if you feel drained and hopeless. But if you spend the same 3 hours learning, building, exercising, or connecting with inspiring voices, don't be surprised if you feel unstoppable. The content you consume is also your environment. Choose it wisely, and let me remind you, in these 90 days your energy will be tested. There will be days when you feel tired, days when you feel doubtful, days when you feel like giving up. This is when your environment becomes the difference between quitting and continuing. If you are surrounded by people who tell you, "It's okay, just relax, don't push yourself," you will quit. But if you are surrounded by people who tell you, "Keep going, you are stronger than this, you are closer than you think, you will rise," in the darkest moments, energy is the lifeline that keeps you moving. You do not rebuild yourself in isolation. You rebuild yourself by creating an environment where success is the natural result. Imagine planting a seed. If the soil is rich, the water is consistent, the sunlight is strong, the seed grows easily. But if the soil is dry, the water is polluted, the sunlight is blocked, the seed struggles and dies. The seed is the same, but the environment changes the outcome. You are the seed. Your habits, your dreams, your vision, they are all seeds. But your environment determines whether they grow or die. For the next 90 days, you must plant yourself in the right soil, surround yourself with the right water, place yourself under the right light. Only then will you grow into the person you are meant to be. My friends, never forget this: you cannot rebuild yourself if you keep surrounding yourself with the same old energy that broke you. If you want to rise higher, you must protect your environment fiercely. You must choose energy that lifts you, people who challenge you, spaces that inspire you, content that grows you. Because in the end, energy is not just something you feel, it is something that shapes who you become. And if you surround yourself with the right energy for 90 days, you will not just change your habits, you will change your life. My friends, there comes a moment in every journey where thinking, planning, and preparing are no longer enough. You can dream all you want, you can visualize success every night, you can write down goals in the most beautiful notebook. But if you do not take action, nothing will change. Action is the bridge between imagination and reality. Action is the tool that takes a vision and builds it into existence. Without action, all you have are wishes. Without action, your 90-day commitment is just words on paper. But with bold action, you can compress years of growth into just 3 months, because action creates momentum and momentum creates breakthroughs. The problem is, most people are afraid to act boldly. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect confidence, the perfect plan. They wait until they feel ready. But let me tell you something powerful. You will never feel fully ready. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes after action. Every bold step you take builds belief. Every move you make towards your goal tells your brain, "I can do this." If you sit and wait for courage, you will wait forever. Courage is built in the moment you act, not before. Think about a child learning to walk. Do they wait until they are perfectly ready? No, they stumble, they fall, they get up again. Each step builds strength. Each fall builds resilience. Soon walking becomes natural. Life is no different. You must take bold steps even when you feel unprepared, because it is in the act of moving that you grow into the person who can handle success. If you take action every single day for 90 days, you will not only achieve results, you will become fearless, because boldness is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. But bold action does not mean reckless action. It does not mean you blindly chase everything without thinking. Bold action means you deliberately move forward despite fear. Bold action means you refuse to let excuses, doubt, or temporary setbacks stop you. Bold action means you push past comfort zones every single day. Too many people waste years living in the shadow of fear. They say, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? But the real question is, what if you never try? What if you spend your whole life wondering what could have been? That regret is heavier than failure, my friends. Failure hurts for a moment, but regret hurts forever. In these 90 days, your mission is not perfection. It is progress. Every day, ask yourself, what bold action can I take today that brings me closer to my goal? Maybe it is making that phone call you have been avoiding. Maybe it is applying for that opportunity you feel underqualified for. Maybe it is waking up earlier, committing to your health, starting that side business, writing that first page of your book, or speaking up when you normally stay silent. Bold action does not have to be massive. It just has to push you beyond what is comfortable. Small bold actions repeated daily turn into unstoppable progress. And here is the beautiful thing about action. It creates clarity. So many people are stuck in endless thinking, asking themselves, what if this happens? What if that goes wrong? But the truth is, you cannot think your way into clarity. You act your way into clarity. When you move, when you try, when you fail and adjust, you learn what works and what doesn't. Action reveals what the mind alone cannot. In 90 days of bold action, you will learn more about yourself, your dreams, and your potential than in 9 years of overthinking. Do not underestimate the compounding power of daily boldness. Imagine you take one bold step every day for 90 days. That's 90 actions that your old self would have avoided. 90 fears faced, 90 barriers broken, 90 chances created. Do you realize how much further ahead you would be compared to those who took 0 steps? Bold action separates the dreamers from the doers. Bold action separates those who talk from those who achieve. Bold action is what builds confidence, reputation, and momentum. And yes, along the way, you will fail. You will make mistakes. You will stumble. But every failure is simply proof that you are in the arena while others are still sitting in the stands. Every mistake teaches you something that success never could. Every stumble makes your foundation stronger. Remember, success is not built on perfection, it is built on persistence. Bold action ensures you keep moving no matter what happens. But let me warn you, bold action is uncomfortable. Comfort zones are safe, but they are also prisons. If you stay in your comfort zone, nothing changes. If you step out daily, even just a little, you discover how much more you are capable of. At first, it feels scary. Your heart races, your hands sweat, your mind tries to pull you back. But with each step, you expand your comfort zone. By the end of 90 days, the things that once scared you will feel normal. What used to intimidate you will now feel easy. That is how you rebuild yourself, not by avoiding fear, but by facing it daily until it loses power. In these 90 days, you must also learn to act before you feel ready. Many people wait for the right mood, the right day, the right inspiration. But the truth is, feelings follow action, not the other way around. Do not wait to feel motivated to work, start working, and motivation will come. Do not wait to feel confident to speak, speak and confidence will grow. Do not wait to feel strong to act, and strength will follow. Feelings are unreliable, but actions create new feelings. That is the secret of boldness. Ask yourself this: how would your life look if for the next 90 days you replaced hesitation with bold action? How many opportunities would you create? How many doors would you open? How much progress would you make? Most people will let 90 days pass with nothing but excuses. But a few people, the bold ones, will use those same 90 days to build a life others only dream of. And the only difference between the two groups is action. So, my friends, if you truly want to rebuild yourself, do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Take bold action today. Take bold action tomorrow. Take bold action every day for 90 days. At the end of those 3 months, you will look back and realize that you are no longer the same person. You will stand taller, think bigger, move faster, and live stronger. You will realize that bold action not only changed your results, it changed your identity. Remember this forever: the world does not reward ideas, it rewards execution. The world does not reward intentions, it rewards boldness. The world does not reward those who wait, it rewards those who act. Be one of those who act. Be one of those who, in 90 days, can say, I didn't just dream of change, I built it. Bold action every day is the price of transformation, and if you are willing to pay it, the reward is a life you never imagined possible. My friends, when you commit to rebuilding yourself in 90 days, you must understand something very important. Transformation is not an event, it is a process. It is not about doing something for a short period and then going back to your old life. It is about using those 90 days as a launch pad into a completely new way of living. But here's the truth. If you want the change to last, you must be willing to review, adjust, and keep going. Many people begin strong, they do well for a while, but then they stop because they don't measure, they don't reflect, they don't adjust. They treat the 90 days like a sprint, when in reality it is the opening chapter of a marathon. At the end of 90 days, you cannot simply celebrate and stop. You must sit down with honesty and review what you have done. Ask yourself, what have I achieved? What habits have I built? What weaknesses have I overcome? Where did I fall short? Where did I waste time? Self-review is not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It is about becoming aware. Without awareness, you cannot grow. Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. Growth only comes when you are honest enough to face your results. Most people avoid reviewing because they are afraid of the truth. They don't want to see the areas where they failed. They don't want to admit where they wasted time or broke promises to themselves. But avoiding truth never brings growth. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must be brave enough to confront reality. Because reality is the teacher that shows you exactly where to improve. Reviewing your 90 days is like looking into a mirror. The mirror does not lie. The mirror shows you who you really are. And only when you see yourself clearly can you decide who you want to become next. But reflection alone is not enough. After review comes adjustment. Maybe in the last 90 days, you worked hard but in the wrong direction. Maybe you wasted too much time on things that didn't matter. Maybe you discovered habits that didn't serve you. That's okay. That's the purpose of the process. The 90 days are not about perfection. They are about discovery. They reveal your strengths and weaknesses. And once you know them, you can adjust. Adjusting is not failure. It is wisdom. Smart people don't just keep repeating what doesn't work. Smart people reflect, learn, and change their approach. Let me give you an example. Imagine you wanted to get healthier in 90 days. You committed to exercising every day. At first, you tried running, but you hated it. You forced yourself, but your body resisted. Your mind resisted, and you almost quit. But then you reviewed and realized, maybe running isn't for me. Maybe I enjoy cycling or swimming more. So you adjusted. You switched the method, but you kept the goal. And suddenly, you found consistency. That's the power of adjustment. It's not about doing things exactly the way you started. It's about finding the way that keeps you moving forward. Another example, let's say you wanted to improve your finances in 90 days. You committed to saving a large portion of your income, but after 2 weeks you realized it was unrealistic with your current expenses. Many people would quit at this point, but if you review and adjust, you can find a better strategy. Maybe you start smaller, maybe you cut unnecessary spending, maybe you find a side income. The point is, you don't quit, you adjust. You don't throw away the entire mission, you redesign the path. That's how winners keep moving when others stop. And then comes the most important part, keep going. Too many people treat the 90 days as the finish line, when in truth, it is only the beginning. 90 days is enough to build habits, to gain momentum, to prove to yourself that change is possible. But the real power is in continuing beyond those 90 days. Imagine if you reflect, adjust, and then commit to another 90 days, and then another, and then another. In 1 year, you would be unrecognizable. In 5 years, unstoppable. The secret is not to stop after one season of growth, but to keep building season after season until greatness is your lifestyle. And let me tell you something powerful, the cycle of review, adjust, and continue never ends. Even the most successful people in the world still review their actions, adjust their strategies, and keep going. That is why they stay successful. The moment you think you have arrived, the moment you stop reflecting and adjusting, is the moment you begin to decline. Life is always changing, circumstances shift, opportunities evolve, challenges appear. If you do not adapt, you will be left behind. The key to lifelong success is not stubbornness, it is flexibility. Be firm on your goals but flexible on your methods. In these 90 days, you will discover things about yourself you never knew. Some will make you proud. Some will make you uncomfortable. But both are necessary. Pride shows you how far you've come. Discomfort shows you how much further you can go. At the end of the 90 days, you must look at both. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Progress deserves recognition. But also face your shortcomings. Growth deserves responsibility. Then, with courage, design your next steps. Think about it like climbing a mountain. The first 90 days get you to a higher point. From there, the view is different. You see new opportunities, new paths, new challenges that were invisible at the bottom. But if you stop there, you never reach the summit. The higher you climb, the more you must review your direction, adjust your steps, and keep climbing. Because the summit is not reached in one straight line, it is reached by adjusting your path again and again until you arrive. And here's the beauty: each time you review and adjust, you become wiser. Each time you continue, you become stronger. Each cycle of 90 days makes you sharper, tougher, more resilient, more capable. Eventually, reviewing and adjusting becomes part of who you are. You stop fearing mistakes because you know you can correct them. You stop fearing failure because you know it is only feedback. You stop fearing challenges because you know they only make you stronger. That is when you become truly unstoppable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you have mastered the art of adapting. So I tell you this: if you are serious about rebuilding yourself, do not see the 90 days as an end. See them as a rebirth. See them as training for the rest of your life. Use them to build the mindset of review, the courage to adjust, and the discipline to keep going. Because life will never stop testing you, but as long as you never stop adjusting, you will never stop winning. At the end of these 90 days, you will face a choice. You can look back, say, I did well, and then return to your old self. Or you can look back, say, I have grown, and then keep climbing to a level you once thought impossible. 90 days can change your habits. Another 90 can change your identity. A few more can change your destiny. The choice is yours. So remember this: review with honesty, adjust with wisdom, and keep going with determination. If you do this, nothing in the world can stop you. Because success is not built in a single day, and it is not achieved in a single season. It is built in the cycle of review. Adjust and continue again and again until greatness becomes your way of life. My friends, most people waste 90 days scrolling, complaining, or waiting for luck. But a few people, the rare ones, use 90 days to plant the seeds of greatness. Do not underestimate what you can become in such a short time. 90 days of focus can make the next 9 years of your life extraordinary. So I ask you, are you ready to rebuild yourself? Are you ready to rise above your old version and meet the person you were always meant to be? The next 90 days can either pass as just another 3 months, or they can become the chapter that changes your story forever. The choice is yours.